Good morning. I am Amy Conrad. My pronouns are she, her, and it is my pleasure to serve on your Board of Trustees. I'm delighted to welcome you here this morning. If you're here for the first time, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting to know you. We invite everyone here in the sanctuary today to join our in-person community time immediately following the service. I want to celebrate our annual auction today. The UTUUC team worked hard to gather a wonderful variety of offerings. These experiences will foster connections between so many of us in the coming year and also raised over $24,000. So, yeah. Love and appreciation to the auction team. Each week, we remind ourselves of our congregation's core values: connection, transformation, justice, and acceptance. Our mission is to embody these core values in our daily lives by welcoming all, inspiring compassion, nurturing wonder, and serving community. Unitarian Universalists also uphold 7 principles. As today we begin focusing on April's worship theme of interdependence, we especially lift up the 7th principle: respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. I think Emily is going to introduce some musical and pulpit guests today.
You are all in for a treat this morning because we have some wonderful guests. Returning guest, Melanie DeMoore, composer, singer, and culture bearer of African American singing traditions, brings her joyful, resonant voice and presence to us this morning. Melanie served as founding member of the Grammy-nominated vocal ensemble Linda Tillery and the Cultural Heritage Choir. Melanie has performed at Carnegie Hall, the Kennedy Center, international folk music festivals from Europe to Cuba to New Zealand to Oak Park. So glad to have you back, Melanie. And we welcome to our pulpit the Reverend Brian Sauder, who is the president and CEO of Faith in Place. And Faith in Place is an organization that was incubated here by Reverend Claire Butterfield 20-some years ago, and Brian took over from her about 10 years ago in serving that organization. He is going to be leading a workshop after the service at 11:15 right here. And also here from Faith in Place is Samantha Miller, who's the outreach coordinator. She has a table in Unity House, and so you'll not only get to hear from Brian, but also find out lots of different ways to be engaged in the work of Faith in Place.
We are so glad that you are with us today. I invite you now to take a moment to greet one another, both online and in the sanctuary.
I said all the things.
You got it. Today it just feels good in here.
Yeah, it does. There's good energy.
Our chalice lighter this morning is Wyatt. Wyatt likes to play video games and play D&D, and also recently got into geocaching. Please join with me in the words of our chalice lighting. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the church of the open minds, the loving hearts, and the helping hands. We take care of the planet Earth and each other.
When the day breaks, when the sun goes down, I can hear the song of the wind when the sun goes down. And I pray for peace, and I look to the light when the sun goes down. I pray for peace.
I'm Reverend Emily Gage. My pronouns are she and her. These opening words are from Jerry Kishbaugh Hildebrand. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds. Embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth, we light a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world not of wealth, but of well-being. A world of new peace and abundance for all. As we give thanks for the earth, our shared and singular home, may we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care, rising to the calls deep within us and around us. May we respond today and always with courage and with love. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hands like this. Hands like this. Now, when I say the word up, you go up. So, and I live in Oakland, so, and y'all are here in Chicago, so you know we say up. So, we okay? All right? And since this whole thing is about holding each other together, this song is called Hold Everybody Up. You will sing. Don't worry about it. You know exactly what to do. We all good. All right. So sing right with me. Sing with me. We gotta hold everybody. We gotta hold everybody up. We gotta hold everybody. We gotta hold everybody up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody. And then we clap. Then we clap. Just because you look like you and I look like me, it doesn't mean we can't be friends. You're not my enemy. So we gotta hold everybody. We gotta hold everybody up. We gotta hold everybody. We gotta hold everybody up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody. And then we clap again. And I say, people all around the world sometimes feel so sad. But when others show they care, well, things don't seem so bad. So we gotta hold everybody. Harmony is good. Hold everybody up. Well, we gotta hold everybody. We gotta hold everybody up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up. Thank you, Reverend Dr. King, for showing us what love can bring. Thank you, my diva, for lifting up South Africa. We gotta hold everybody. Well, we gotta hold everybody up. We gotta hold everybody. We gotta hold everybody up, hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up, up, up. Hold everybody up. Big finish. Up, up. Hold everybody up. And then we clap because we can.
Please join me in reading the words of our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
My name is Jay Cohen. I'm a member of the spiritual care team. We open up this time in every single service to share the joys and sorrows of our lives. If you would ever like for one of your joys or sorrows to be shared from the pulpit, feel free to write it in the book outside the sanctuary before the service, or email us anytime at spiritualcare@unitytemple.org. We also always like to say the spiritual care team is always here for you. If you're ever going through a challenge and you'd like to be with somebody who could listen and hold with compassion, feel free to email us at that same address, spiritualcare@unitytemple.org. We have two items that were shared today. Paul Beckwith asked us to hold in our hearts Linda Sandman, who is a good friend of his, who's a mother of two, who had a brain aneurysm and has had a surgery this week and is currently in the ICU. So we're holding Linda and her whole family in our thoughts and prayers. On a joyful note, we want to share, the Mindful Reflection community wanted to share that tomorrow is our 4-year anniversary of doing the morning meditation. We've done this every single day, 365 days for 4 years. We started during the pandemic, and it's tomorrow morning at 8:25. We're going to have a little celebration. So feel free to join us on Zoom. We know that many people here have joys and sorrows in their hearts, and we open up a time in every service for people to take one of the stones and put it in the water, and the water then represents this container of love and compassion that holds all of us in our joys and our sorrows. So in a moment, we're going to do this in silence. There's 4 different stations around the congregation, and feel free to drop a stone in, and then we'll have a prayer, and then at the very end, we'll sing Spirit of Life. Please begin.
Let us unite our hearts and minds in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love, we give thanks for the gift of this day, for the miracles of sun and sky, for the grounding of grass and mud, for the glory of flowering bud and bright bird song. May we soak these into our souls and spirits as nourishment. Spirit of life and love, our hearts cry out in anguish and despair for all those diagnosed with incurable disease, for helpers in war zones being attacked and killed, for people being harassed for being who they are. May we reach out to the world and to one another in courage and love. Spirit of life and love, there is so much work to be done, so much to respond to, so many opportunities to make the world a better place. It would be so easy to turn away from need, and yet there is reason to hope. In our corner of the world this week, the last of the 201 new neighbors from Central and South America that arrived in Oak Park are now settled in long-term housing, all made possible by the hands and hearts of our wider community. Just one story of change for the good. May we be reminded that what we do matters, that kindness and compassion matter, that there is reason to hope and believe and dream and keep on keeping on. And may we each know that we are held in love both this day and all our days. Amen. Blessed be.
Now is the time in our service for the message for all ages. So I'd like to invite those that are young in body or young in spirit to come join me up front for a message for all ages. Welcome, everybody. I have a book with pictures to show, so be sure to sit close so you can see. Can anybody tell me what's happening tomorrow? The solar eclipse. Is everybody aware of the solar eclipse? Wow. Well, I thought today our theme in our service this morning is how we're connected together in the big cosmos and web of life. And so I picked out a book by Oliver Jeffers. Oliver is very passionate that we understand the thing known as space and the big sky. So does anybody recognize this picture of, what is it? The solar system. Very good. You see the solar system here? And what's that big, bright, shiny thing in the middle? Over here. The sun. And then can anybody spot what's the big ball that we're sitting on right now? Somebody hasn't responded yet. Yep. It says we are here right there, and we call that Earth. So we're sitting on Earth. So what's going to happen tomorrow is we're spinning around the sun on the Earth. We're circling the sun. But there's something that's going to get in between us and the sun that's going to make it go dark in the middle of the day. What is that thing called? The moon. So once in a while, you could say once in a blue moon, the moon gets perfectly aligned between the sun and us here at the earth, and it gets dark in the middle of the day. How cool is that? And that helps us recognize that we are a part of something that's much bigger, much more vast. And this book is called Here We Are. Welcome to this planet. We call it Earth. It is the big globe floating in space on which we all live. We're glad you found us, as space is very big. Look how big space is. Here's the Earth, the moon, and then all this other space. There's so much to see and do here on Earth, so let's do a quick tour. So we're going to speed through this book quickly, but guess what? What's the two things that kind of separate Earth? We have what, and it's right here in the book, right back here. The land and the ocean, absolutely. So my daughters, who I think are in the nursery, they love, this is their favorite page because they can call out their favorite ocean animal. What ocean animals do you see, or organisms do you see? An octopus, that's my favorite. An octopus, what else do you see? Go ahead. A narwhal. Go ahead. Oh, there's a scuba diver down there, absolutely. A shark, go ahead. A California sea lion, very good, yep, in the back. A whale, yep, absolutely. What do you see? You see some other stuff as well? Yeah, there's all sorts of cool things under the ocean and up in space and the sky. And then we as humans, here we are, as bodies living on the earth here. And we have a lungs that help us breathe, a heart that moves our blood around, bones that keep us and help us walk and stand tall, and a brain to help us think. And there's all types of different people. And look what it says here. It says, people come in many shapes, sizes, and colors. We may all look different, act different, and sound different, but don't be fooled. We're all people. And I think there's one more page that I wanted to show you. Yeah, of course, there's other animals as well that live on land. I want you to shout out your favorite land animals. Do you see any on here? Snake? There is a whale on here too. There's other animals as well. Shout it out. You can just shout. Okay, an albatross, a specific kind. Very good. A snake. Lots of fans of snakes. Yes, a fawn. What did you find? A penguin. Excellent. Very good. So we're going to wrap up our book here. Sometimes things can move slowly on Earth, and sometimes things can move very, very fast. Though we have come a long way, we haven't quite worked everything out, so there's plenty left for you to do. You will figure lots of things out for yourself. Just remember to leave notes for others. So thank you for joining for a message of all ages. Enjoy the eclipse tomorrow. Have fun, be safe, and you can go off to your next thing.
Each week, Unity Temple splits the offering evenly. One half supports the mission and programs of the congregation, and this week the other half goes to Faith in Place, which is an organization of people of faith and justice protecting the earth. Faith in Place coaches green teams of all faiths to create lasting change, fighting for those most impacted by environmental injustice. We have some baskets to pass around, and there are alternative ways of giving instructions on the screen and in the order of service. May we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts.
Today, to set the stage for our theme of interdependence, I have 3 short readings to offer. The first reading is from Leah Thomas, author of The Intersectional Environmentalist and keynote speaker at the 2023 Faith and Place Green Team Summit. Social injustice and environmental justice are fueled by the same flame, the undervaluing, commodification, and exploitation of all forms of life and natural resources, from the smallest blade of grass to those living in poverty and oppressed people worldwide. It's a point that many ecofeminists, environmental justice scholars and leaders, indigenous rights and land sovereignty advocates, and climate politicians have argued for decades, but it hasn't been embodied deeply enough in modern environmental education. Our second reading is from the DCEO website, the state of Illinois. DCEO is the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. I'm curious if this is the first time the DCEO website has been read from the Unity Temple pulpit. It's titled The Clean Jobs Workforce Network Program. Through the Clean Jobs Workforce Network Program, or otherwise known as the CJA Workforce Hubs, 13 workforce hubs across Illinois will offer training, certification, preparation, and skill development for entry-level jobs in clean energy-related industries such as solar, wind, energy efficiency, and EV maintenance. The hubs will utilize the Clean Jobs curriculum framework, which was developed through a broad stakeholder process. The CJA Workforce Hubs will also offer wraparound services and support in order to help participants overcome barriers to successful completion. The Workforce Hubs will be geographically distributed across Illinois, serving people who reside in or near the following 13 hub areas: Chicago on the south side, Chicago on the southwest and west sides, Waukegan, Rockford, Aurora, Joliet, Peoria, Champaign, Danville, Decatur, Carbondale, East St. Louis, and Alton. Workforce Hubs will offer training and services in or near these hub service areas. Subject to appropriation, $22.9 million per year will be allocated for the program, with an additional $15 million per year for distribution of energy transition barrier reduction programs, services, and funds. And last but not least, for our third reading, we will continue with the DCEO website to learn about the Returning Resident Clean Jobs Training Program. The Returning Resident Clean Jobs Training Program will provide training within Illinois Department of Corrections, correctional facilities, to prepare people in the custody for entry-level clean energy jobs. Participants will receive essential employability skills training as part of a vocational or occupational training. The training will lead to certification or credentials that prepare candidates for employment. The returning resident program will use a standard clean jobs curriculum. $6 million in funding will be allocated to this program, subject to appropriations.
And so, thinking of the people that we need to hold up in song and prayer, this is a chant for that. So you mentioned your friend Linda and her family getting ready to go through these hard times. And there's a lot of people that need us to hold them up in song. And we'll sing this a few times. And join or not, doesn't matter. You're already part of it, so deal with that. I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, dear. Here in my heart, I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, child. Here in my heart, I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, dear. Here in my heart, I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, dear. Here in my heart. Here in my heart, we sit beside you. We take your hand. We hold you close, dear. Here in our hearts, we sit beside you. We take your hand. We hold you close, dear. Here in our hearts, we hold you close, love. Here in our hearts, we hold you close, child. Here in our hearts.
As the sun shares with us her light, my life is your life. As the earth shares with us her soil, Your life is my life. Together we hold each other, each of us a place in the whole. One of the risks of being a guest preacher is that you assume folks remember the sermon that you gave last time that you visited. And if you may recall, last August I was here, one of the many times I've been in and out of Unity Temple over the last decade. I really feel like I'm growing up, you all. But last August when I was here, I spoke to you, I'm sure you remember, but I spoke to you about the wisdom of building relationships with Earth. I believe that we need to move past a sort of self-willed, conjured-up notion of, I should care for the Earth, and rather move towards a deep understanding of what it means to be in companionship and relationship and kinship with Earth. And in my experience, the foundation of deep relationship results from ongoing and vulnerable conversations. So when I was here in August, I repeatedly asked you politely to go out and to have a conversation with a tree. To go out and to talk with Earth. And I hope since I've been here last that maybe a few of you, maybe even just one of you, was inspired to take a risk and go out and have such a conversation. And maybe that for those of you who were skeptical, it conjured up a different type of thought and you looked at a tree differently the next time you saw it, or at least maybe said a simple hello. But I have good news. If you forgot all about that, and you didn't go have a conversation with a tree, guess what? It's April. It's Earth Month. And if you haven't attempted it yet, there is still time. Maybe there are some of you who could witness and testify later that you have attempted many conversations and have made a new tree friend as a result. Maybe even discovering new things about yourself in return. For me, I just returned from a month-long sabbatical from Faith and Place this past March, where Gab and I stayed in Pompano Beach, Florida. This is where my parents now live. And while Gab could work remote, my parents generously offering babysitting for our 2.5-year-old twins, I could go by day to explore the depths of the ocean through my favorite activity, scuba diving. Now, when you're underwater scuba diving, it's hard to have a conversation with the fish and the coral. Your regulator and mask make it difficult to say hello and strike up a conversation. And yet, there is a surprising ability through a deep sense of awe and wonder to forge lasting relationships. I had the honor one day of diving with 2 marine biologists and a former Navy SEAL tech diver who is now an Episcopal priest. What a crew. I was just trying to hang out and keep up. And I noticed when diving with these experts that they moved slowly. They moved with an intentionality of seeing every single organism and understanding how each small part played their integral role in the broader whole. When underwater, you quickly see yourself as small and as part of something so much larger. And as we moved deliberately underwater, using flashlights as the sun was still rising early morning, we came across a friendly octopus. As we said hello, hovering around the octopus, the priest reached out one finger as a way of introduction. And in return, the octopus reached one tentacle back. And for a few breathless moments that turned to minutes of awe and wonder, they held hands. They held each other close. It's difficult to wipe the tears away from your eyes while masked under the deep blue sea. Yet, in the words of our children's author today, Oliver Jeffers, here we are, bodies under a complicated sky, on a big ball spinning around the sun, never alone despite how lonely we may feel. Craig Foster says in My Octopus Teacher, a story captured an amazing film documentary of how one man builds a powerful friendship with an octopus through daily visits in the kelp forest off the coast of South Africa. Craig says the octopus's primary lesson for him was to truly feel that he was part of this place, the place underwater at the kelp forest off the coast of South Africa. The octopus taught him that he was not a visitor, but rather that he belonged in that place. As the sun shares its light, my life is your life. And as the earth shares her soil, Your life is my life. And together we hold each other, each of us a place in the whole. The seventh Unitarian Universalist principle discusses the value of respect for the independent web of all existence of which we are part. Unitarian Universalists see ourselves as one thread in a single fabric of all existence. We embrace nature's beauty and are in awe of its power. But respect for interdependent web of all existence comes from relationship, partnership, conversation, and bumping up against the messiness that is getting out in the soil and the depths of our ecosystems. To live the seventh principle, we must get down and dirty in the mud of life and relationships. So walk with me for a second as we get a little bit nerdy and look at some definitions. I think it's important to discuss the definition of interdependence and maybe even point out some of its limitations. Interdependence refers to the mutual reliance between two or more entities. In sociology, psychology, and ecology, this concept emphasizes how individuals, groups, organisms, or components within a system depend on each other for their well-being, survival, or functionality. Interdependence suggests a form of relationship in which parties influence one another in various ways, highlighting the importance of connections and relationships within social, ecological, or economic systems. It underscores the idea that no entity exists in isolation, but rather as a part of a web of relations that affect its existence and prosperity. Interdependence has given birth to a new scholarly way of thinking known as intersectionality. This is how the scholarly concept of intersectionality came about. Intersectionality is different than interdependence. It is a framework primarily used to understand and analyze the complexities of social identities and the way in which different forms of discrimination and oppression intersect in the interweb of life. Intersectionality is coined by the scholar Kimberly Crenshaw, originally aimed to address the experiences of Black women whose experiences of discrimination couldn't fully be understood by looking solely at their gender or race in isolation as part of the independent whole. Intersectionality expands to a wide range of social categories, including race, gender, sexuality, class, ability, and age. It is used to identify how overlapping systems of oppression affect those who are most marginalized in our interdependent web, and to challenge conventional ways of thinking about social issues that fail to connect these intersections. So I think there's some key differences between interdependence and intersectionality that are applicable for our thinking during Earth Month. Both are important to hold together. Both concepts underscore the importance of considering the broader context and connections, whether they be among social identities or various entities within a system, but they do so from two important, different, and distinct perspectives and with different ends in mind. Thinking through both interdependence and intersectionality is important. So the octopus that I met underwater is part of an interdependent ecological system that is made up of parts that include water nutrients from the Gulf Stream, the coral reef and shells for shelter, smaller fish for food, and much, much more. But you could stretch your imagination for a second for illustrative purposes and say that the octopus as an identity is very susceptible in the ways it intersects with the oppressive and powerful drag nets of overfishing, the warming of the water due to climate change, and the ongoing destruction of habitat from fertilizer runoff. It may sound theoretical, but I think it's quite pragmatic. Here's why I read to you about the Returning Residents Program and the Clean Jobs Workforce Hubs and the Climate Equitable Jobs Act that's listed on the DCEO website. Because I think they are practical illustrations on why holding both of these lenses matter. In my role at Faith and Place years ago, I had the honor of sitting in the room where we created the Illinois Solar for All program with a specific emphasis on making sure that those coming out of prison had access to the careers and jobs and wealth creation opportunities in the emerging solar economy. This was the beginning of legislating in Illinois on climate issues, not simply from an interdependent lens, but also from an intersectional lens. From an interdependent lens, we were solving for climate change. Greenhouse gas emissions needed to be reduced, which practically means moving away from energy sources with high greenhouse gas emissions, such as coal and gas, and replacing our energy production that keeps the lights on with solar and wind and geothermal and conservation. A legislative solution on that lens rewards the efficiency and quickness that we can make that transition through policy mechanisms. In the room that day, a room full of clergy serving in economically disadvantaged neighborhoods throughout Chicago, there was a lens, though, not just of interdependence, but a lens of intersectionality. And as the policymakers pressed the clergy in the room if they would support the deal on the table, Pastor Otis Moss, chair of the Faith and Place Action Fund, senior pastor at Trinity United Church of Christ, proclaimed that in order for an agreement, we needed to see 2,000 careers created in solar energy for folks coming out of prison, which we refer to as returning residents. Pastor Moss understood an intersectional lens. He understood how disproportionately black men were incarcerated and how difficult employers made it for these men to get jobs and careers and wealth creation opportunities when getting out of prison. Pastor Moss understood that if a new energy was to be created to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, that would also mean new jobs, and if those jobs and careers were intentionally created for returning residents, then the likelihood of those individuals returning to prison went significantly down. Through this simple but practical suggestion, an idea born from the lens of intersectionality, Pastor Moss connected the dots in the policy solution between climate activism, mass incarceration, and a just economy. And as a result, the Solar for All program was born. As I reflected on this story and experience in preparation to be with you all here today, I went looking for some statistics. In the many years of hard work of implementation of the Solar for All program since that day together in that room, the Illinois Commerce Commission says that as a result, as of today, more than 1,300 trainees have completed the Solar for All program and have secured jobs in the solar panel installation and energy sectors as a result. One idea, 1,300 jobs making a difference. Today, we are expanding that effort through the Climate Equitable Jobs Act. The two programs that I read to you about, the Returning Residents Program and the Clean Energy Workforce Hubs, are core parts of that effort to expand our intersectional approach. As the sun shines down on all of us and shares our light with each of us, my life is your life. As the earth shares its soil, your life is my life. And together we hold each other, each of us, a place in the whole. One application here for us as institutions of faith and diverse spiritualities is to not be siloed. Holding both an interdependent and an intersectional lens require us to break down the usual suspicions of committee work and join them together in powerful ways. I can't tell you how many faith communities, whether it's a mosque, synagogue, parish, temple, our church that I walk into, and the green team is siloed in the community and known as, oh, they're the greenies, they work on recycling. But we have such a bigger vision when we think from the lens of intersectionality and interdependence. Unity Temple here has led the way in breaking down some of those silos by combining the Faith in Action and the Social Justice Committee by working on intersectionally the eco-justice, the LGBTQ rights, reproductive rights, and the many more issues of justice together as a whole and advancing that work. Now, doing so practically, and I can tell you from experience, both in policy and in institutions, is messy. I know in our workshop after the service, I'll tell you more about the ways implementing these intersectional policies with the state of Illinois is unbelievably and unnecessarily complicated. And I'll tell you ways that you can jump into our advocacy and help. But let me just say a word about working in the mess. Because when we are deep down in the mud of life, that, I believe, is where we find liberation. Our 2024 Faith in Place keynote speaker at our annual Environment and Spirituality Conference, formerly known as the Green Team Summit. We're trying out a new name this year to attract more people. The annual Environment and Spirituality Conference is Lama Rod Owens. Lama Rod Owens is a Buddhist minister, author, and activist. And one of my favorite quotes of his reads, "I don't live in the romanticizing of the Dharma. I live in the messiness of the mud and from which the awakening, the lotus itself, emerges." We are so busy trying to get to the lotus that we don't know we have to get in the messiness of the earth. You're going to break a lot of things to get free. As the sun shares its light, my life is your life. And as the earth shares its soil, your life is my life. Together, we hold each other, each of us a place in the broader whole.
And so what do you got to do? You got to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. We shall commence the clapping. You got to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You got to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. So we gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. So we gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. And I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. So we gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And lead with love. And lead with love. And lead with love. And lead. Come on. With love.
Our closing words are in part from Elena Westbrook. Go in hope, for the arc of the universe is long and we can bend it towards justice. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice in our daily lives and the larger world, and together we hold each other. Go in awe, for it is possible to hold hands with an octopus. Go in love, because a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our lives and the world.
As we extinguish our chalice today, hear these words. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.
when all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around. Heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I?